Hello, welcome to What I Would Tell My Diary. We are so freaking back. I edited and posted or scheduled a whole entire video today. So I have been on my podcast grind today. I am getting it done. I have a whole one set up and now I'm filming a whole nother one, and it's just been a really good day for me. I haven't done as much school that I'd like to do, but I have been working on this business. So we are getting it done, guys. We are doing great. We have a very interesting podcast setup today where there is so much light going on. My bed is just full of little lights that I own and everything that I can do so that my lighting can be a bit better, so that the video quality can be better. We're going to see if this works and looks gorgelina or not so much. We're still working with it, right? I'm still trying to figure out what I can do so that it can look really good and crisp and clean, and the audio is delicious and yummy, and the video is delicious and yummy, and it is cozy, and it is everything you want in a whole entire video podcast. For today's super fun topic, we're going to be talking about why I'm not looking for validation anymore, why I am decentering myself from men's view and the male gaze, and what I can do to really continue putting myself into a place where I'm validating myself and I am loving myself for what and who I am. I feel like I used to think that being chosen meant that I was valuable and worthy and somebody wanted me, so then everybody in the world wants me. But more and more, I've noticed that I want to keep choosing myself. I don't want to keep putting myself into the place where I need somebody to want me so that I feel good. At that point, I feel like it just gets into this really awkward, toxic habit where I'm often looking for somebody to validate me, to love me, to want me. And then once I get that validation, I'm like, great, successful, it worked, amazing. And then I'm like, well, I don't really feel that good. So I do the whole entire thing again. And I find a new person, somebody who has higher status, or who's somebody who's cooler, or in a very specific group is the main person in that group, or whatever it is. And I feel like that just starts to get into like a really bad habit of just messiness, where really all you're doing every day is actively looking for what you can do to make yourself better so that that person or that thing or that concept or society likes you better for being what they want rather than what you already are and what you bring to the table that is valuable. It's been difficult a bit for me within the past couple of months to try to continuously put myself in a place where I'm like, no, I'm valuable for what I am. And I think using this podcast is kind of a tool for me to continue doing that by actively making content that I know people want to see. I don't want to put content on YouTube or wherever I end up uploading it, like Spotify as well, that people don't actually want to watch. I don't intend to put out just crappy content for the sake of it, but I also don't want to keep putting out content that's just for the trends and the algorithm and SEO and all of these other big keywords that you have to follow if you want to get views and whatever. Because for me, I actually want to be creating something that feels like artistic and feels like I get to speak on a topic that I enjoy. And so I'm trying to continuously prove to myself that I can make content that I like and that feels like me. And if I'm not getting the views that somebody else might be getting, or I'm not feeling like I'm building a community as fast as somebody else might be, it's okay, because at the end of the day, I'm still doing this for me. At the end of the day, I'm not doing this for validation from random people on the internet. I'm not doing this just so that I can get famous or get money quick or whatever everybody else is doing it for, or whatever the trend is about content creation. At the end of the day, I still am continuously putting myself into the situation about being very real and raw on the internet and wanting to share what I want to share because it actually is valuable to me, and still continuously being myself. So showing up as myself. So wearing clothes that feel like me, putting myself into a position where I'm at right now in my bed, filming this. Yes, there's literally 7 lights around me. There's 6, whatever. I can't count. And yes, it's a setup, but still sharing my real, raw, authentic self. And I think that that is helping me move away from the validation. Obviously, this podcast isn't the only thing that I'm using that as a tool, but it sure as hell is helping. I feel like my old pattern used to be really messy in such a way, because growing up as a normal teenage girl, I would have normal teenage crushes, and I would, fantasize about what would happen if I got married to this one boy that I'd like, or I would think about anything that could ever happen, or what our names would sound like together, all of the very typical crushy girl things. But I don't think that I realized that over time I was actually instigating in my brain and just developing this idea of them needing to like me back, rather than me just being able to live in a bit of a fantasy for a little while. I have had many crushes in my days, and I love and enjoy a little romanticizing. Sometimes I find myself actively making a crush for myself for the sake of it. There's two people that come to mind right now who awkwardly I work with, but I'm like, oh, I'm just going to have a crush on them. I don't actually find them that attractive. I don't actually enjoy their presence that much. One of them is literally my friend. And sometimes I just find myself going into that place being like, oh, let's just have fun with that. But then it can go down such a terrible rabbit trail where if that person doesn't want to hang out with me or they don't talk to me that much during a shift, or I find out that they're actually dating somebody else or they're looking for somebody else or their type isn't me, then I'll start to ruminate on it. And I found myself a couple years ago, I think this actually has to do with this one person that I had a crush on. I talked about him in my last episode in high school when I was manifesting the hell out of this man. I was like, no, he is mine. I want him. And I tried. And the embarrassing thing is that really was 3 years ago. And we're trying not to focus on the fact that it was 3 years ago. A small toddler worth of years ago. It's okay. But still back then, I knew who, I guess people were talking about this one girl who maybe he was talking with. Obviously, high school people are talking about everybody and everybody's speaking about things. So he likes her and she likes him and they're dating now and da da da. And that was the thing. And somebody had told me that he liked this one girl who was also in my grade. And I remember thinking, well, how can I be like her? And it wasn't even like a conscious choice where I was like, I want to be like this girl. She's so cool. What can I do to become her and be friends like her and all of that different stuff? No, I was subconsciously changing myself so that I would act more like her. I'm going to drop a little piece of lore that I probably shouldn't be dropping, but I'm going to say it anyways. He was a golfer. Now, if he's ever going to watch this, which I doubt he will, but now he definitely knows who he is. He was a golfer. And this girl and him were on the golf team. I don't even think we really had a golf team. I literally lived in the tiniest little town with the tiniest little high school. 1,000 people that went to that school, max, over 4 grades. We had nobody. But when you actually think about that, that's kind of a lot. Anyway, but I remember thinking, oh, I should start golfing again. Bitch. I golfed when I was, I'm going to say, 4 through 9 with my dad, because it was his thing, and me and my other siblings would go twice a summer, and we would golf. More often than not, I would curl, actually. Fucking love curling. Should get back into that. That was a great sport. But I did not play sports that much growing up other than dance, gymnastics, and a couple random sprinklings of other ones that my parents just put me into. I actually used to really love soccer. I still really do love soccer. That's something that I would love to practice to try to get better at. But I actively was like, how can I figure out how to golf? How am I going to golf? Where am I going to do this? I need to buy myself some golf clubs. I need to make him like me. And I don't know about you, but I think that's fucked up. Like, it's funny. Retrospectively, it's very funny that I am a 17-year-old girl and it is mid-November and I'm like, oh, this man is beautiful. He is gorgeous. He's everything I want. FYI, I've talked to him twice. I had heard stories from other people that he was chaotic, which fun, but he wasn't gay guy who was in the mood to be like a real sturdy long-term boyfriend as far as I'm aware. To be fair, I don't know him and I never know his story, so maybe he wasn't, maybe he was super gay, maybe he wasn't, I don't know. I'm talking a lot about this boy. And he's probably gonna be weirded out too because we've talked 3 times, literally 3 times, maybe 2 times, where we're in a group of 15 people and we're both just standing in the circle like, bitch. Also, today's drink, I'm doing a little mocktail. This is pineapple and basil kombucha from the brand Pure and some Oasis juice mixed up. It is scrumdiddlyumptious, guys. I have been fucking up some cocktails. Not cocktails. Cocktails would be awkward if I say I don't drink. I don't drink much. Emphasis on the much. But the mocktails, they have been delicious, and I've been wanting to get some more fun juices. So if you guys have fairly fun ones that you think I would enjoy, let me know down below. This is a really good mix, though. I love anything fruity, anything tropical. I'm also really digging Red Bulls right now. I was talking to some of my friends about that as of recent. I know one of my friends, Stella, says she loves the tropical one, and one of my other friends, Carl, said that he likes the sugar-free one. I can't believe I keep name-dropping people. I think I'm going to look back, or once I eventually go public with this YouTube channel, because I think my goal at some point is to eventually make this a real business. So I want to tell everybody in my life about this and actually do something about it and see if it can get big and see if people do want to follow this idea that I have. Maybe I shouldn't share all of my friends' names and then continue to share their favorite Red Bull flavors. That's not deep. It's not personal. It's just that I'm like, oh, I really talk. I really get honest on this thing. At least I haven't said the golfer's name yet, because that's when it gets really awkward. Wait, I should check if I still follow him on Instagram. I don't know. He never posts. But back to what I was saying, it started to feel like the validation that I was getting was my oxygen. It was what I needed. Oh my God, you know what I should also talk about? This one guy to the very start of high school, he was my first kiss. It was magical and gorgeous, and it was the worst kiss of my ever loving life because I barely even kissed him. I literally kissed his cheek. That's a good story for a different time. I might make a couple of shorts after this or other little videos that I can post because that's a really good one. It's a really funny story. But people are in my hallway. This is delicious. Fuck. So my neighbors are home, and if they do tend to be loud, I'm so sorry. They are not often a quiet couple, but then here's me also not being that quiet. So was really hope that you can't hear them and that you can only focus on my voice. There was this other guy that I liked in high school, very beginning of it. Actually, I actually even liked him before I got into high school. And I remember I would do the craziest shit by copying his outfits. Bitch, I don't know what I was thinking. I literally don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought that this was a good idea to get the man to like me. It was terrible. I can't believe I'm going to talk about this. He would wear very specific track pants, very specific hoodie, very specific hat, and I would go out of my way to copy him to a T. To an absolute fucking T. And I was like, oh, so subtle, he won't know. Girl, if you had seen us in the hallways, you'd be like, oh, they're siblings. They're wearing the exact same fucking outfit. These are good stories to get into, and I will definitely talk about all the people I've ever had a crush on and just drop all of that lore because it sounds very fun to do on a podcast. But all of this to say, my neighbors can be so goddamn loud, you don't get it. Anyway, all this to say, validation to me was what I had to have to live. Like, it was oxygen. It was a necessity for me. I would go out of my way to do anything so that I knew that somebody else gave a fuck about me. Somebody else said, you know what, Rachel matters. She's good. We want her. And I don't even know when it happened, but I think progressively over a period of time, I just noticed it's getting silly. It's getting genuinely silly. I am changing myself in other ways. I'm buying certain outfits. I'm getting certain makeup. I'm fully actively doing haircuts. I'm doing full look changes. I'm changing up my whole bedroom, my whole space, my whole idea for the next couple of years, just so that I can fit into a better idea of what this person might like. And by the way, it's not even a guaranteed idea of what they might like. It's a full assumption on my part. I have no idea if that guy who loved wanted a girlfriend. No idea. Chances are he probably didn't because he doesn't want golf to be his whole life. I don't know. It's just another assumption. But I was like, nah, I'm going to golf. And you know what? I know for a fact that the guy I had my first kiss with did not want me to copy his outfits. He did not want me to copy him to a T. That's creepy. Imagine you start dating somebody and they are copying you completely. They get the same haircut as you. I didn't do that, but I'm just saying. And they get the same shoes and the same lifestyle, and they literally do everything you do. At that point, you don't got a girlfriend. You got a clone, bitch. I did not want to be his clone girlfriend, but I guess I could. I don't know. It's messed up. It's a whole thing. But it can just feel so exhausting after a point when you recognize over and over that they actually don't want that, or you're not getting the validation that you want, or you don't feel accepted, but you're like, but I'm trying so hard. Why isn't it working? Because it's not working because that's not the way to do it. Because you're supposed to be self-validating, because you're supposed to be loving yourself and only yourself. And yes, your friends can validate you, and so can family members, and so can relationships as well. But at the end of the day, you want to know in your soul and in yourself that you're there for you, and you're doing what you're doing for you because you love it, and because you want to, and because it's valuable for you, not because somebody else who actually doesn't even mean anything to you because they barely have any idea that you have a crush on them and that you're literally obsessed with them give a fuck, because they don't give a fuck. So you can't focus on their opinion. I think my shift was that I ended up just becoming burnt out with it. It wasn't that there was one day where I was like, I'm over it. It was I kept going on and on and on trying to get the validation from somebody, and I never got it. And I want to talk about this one series that I've worked through for many, many years, where I'd always have a situation where I had a crush on somebody and they knew that, and they actively had a crush on my friend or somebody that I knew that was valuable to me. I have been in that situation too many times. I'm going to say 4 or 5. And it also doesn't necessarily mean just friends. I've had it where I really want to be friends with somebody and they end up not liking me and actively rejecting me to be friends with somebody else who was close to me. And that has hit hard. And I'm definitely going to speak about this whole idea in a different video sometime because I think that it's really unique of a situation that I've been through so many times. And I think if I'm being so honest, the one reason that this cycle that I had ended up breaking was because I was the picked one. And the last person that I ended up talking with, dating ish, I was picked over another person that I thought that they would value more. And it healed all of my validation. I felt so important and unique and special. And it was not supposed to be that way. And I think prior to him and this guy that I ended up talking to, mostly we were just friends, but we had a bit of a situationship going on. And being picked at the end of the day did make me feel better. And so I'm not here to say that validation doesn't work, because sometimes it genuinely does. But what it doesn't do is long-term work for you. Short-term, you can feel on top of the world. You're like, yep, this person picked me over another person who was the obvious choice. I am special, I'm amazing, I'm unique, I'm the best, I am so loved, I am so valued. But then at the end of the day, you'll realize that was a situation that shouldn't have happened, or that actually didn't even make any sense, or it wasn't actually true value. It was just that for 15 seconds of my life, I felt special. And that truly was what it was. I felt special. And then looking back, I realized I didn't even like this person that much. I don't even know why I was in the situation. I kept actively putting myself in a place that I probably shouldn't have been in, but I was. And it was what it was. And the burnout of needing validation is so real. At some point, it just kicks you in the ass and it just goes, girl, what are you doing? You are wasting so much of your time that is actually valued on something that isn't valued. And I think that's something that was so interesting with some of the relationships that I've had, is that being valued was not being truly cherished and truly taken care of. It was almost looked at as like, oh, you're a piece of meat. Oh, I want you because you're hot. Perfect. Not, I actually want you because I love everything about you, and I want a relationship with you, and I want a real connection with you. And that, for me, now that I'm growing up, I'm finding so much more valuable. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to negate and reject all of the things that I've done in the past, or ignore everything that I've went through, because it did get me to this point. But I do really, really realize that where I'm at right now, feels like it makes sense. I understand it more. It's more clear-minded that I want to be cherished by somebody. I want a real relationship where there's true connection and there's longevity and something can happen for the future, not just somebody saying, oh, you're attractive, I want you, you're perfect, and then just like kind of grasping at me. Yes, the chase can be interesting, it can be unique and fun, but there's so many other things that you can also put your time into to really grow and cherish those before you have a full real relationship with somebody. And I just think the chase of the validation is just getting old. I think for me, what decentering is to me is me really questioning, do I actually like this person? Do I actually genuinely have a crush on this person? Do I really want to see a future with them? Do I just want to hang out with them? Do I just want to be friends with them? Do I just want them to like me? Really asking myself questions about, what here am I looking for? Being introspective and really looking in on myself and going, well, what do I need? Because within the past few weeks, no, not even, within the past 5 days, there is this one person that I work with who I really never talk to. But I'm going to literally say 5 hours, I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. Oh, maybe. And then I talked to my one coworker who I've barely seen ever before, Alex. I love Alex. He's basically my younger brother, or my second adoptive younger brother, because I do have a real younger brother. Love you, Zach. And he was like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? Why the hell did you just tell me that you had a crush on this boy? And I think it was me, now looking back 5 days ago, I'm like, I was doing that because I was getting a little bored. I was just getting a little bit bored. And I'm like, hey, he's got a cute smile. Objectively, he has a cute smile. But that doesn't mean that I have to now go actively out of my way to try to talk to him more often and see if he'll like me. And if he does like me, then I'm good, and then I'm valuable, then I'm hot, and then I'm worthy of the position I'm in. I'm all these different things. When truly, I don't care what his opinion is. He seems like a great guy. Lovely man. I hope he's doing so well. But I don't actually care. It's just that I want to care, so that I'm like, check mark, one more person likes me, now let's find another one. It's silly. It is really silly at some point. I think it's so much more valuable to have friendships and have connection and real relationships where that the other person likes you for you. And one of my friends right now, Stella, we were having a conversation at our last shift. I just name dropped so fucking much. If I'm ever gonna upload one of these videos, let's just say Stella watches this video someday. She's like, wow, so talked about. I'm actually validating them by giving them some name drops. Anyways, I might need to chillax a little bit on that. I don't know. Sometimes I just get worried because I'm like, well, what happens if they're like, I didn't ever want to be talked about on the internet? I'm like, oh, right. Anyway, I really do love you, Stella. But her and I were just speaking about, I guess, how I feel like our connection really works. Her and I can have a good, solid relationship and it doesn't feel heavy and we don't feel like we have to pretend to be a different person and we can just be in the moment and it is just solid and fun. And I love that. And I really do. And that for me is not me constantly looking for validation from Stella, but just enjoying her presence. And that is awesome. Also, I really love Stella. I was supposed to see her today and I didn't text her. So I really have to text her after this and go, hey, I'm so sorry. Let's hang out tomorrow. I want to get ramen with Stella tomorrow. I love Stella. I do understand, though, that there is a lonely part of not constantly seeking validation. There is an energy of knowing that you really are on your own and you have to make peace for yourself and you have to trust yourself and you have to notice that there is a future that's going to come and maybe there is a relationship that will happen. And yes, actively seek that so that you can get the relationship that you value, if that is what you're looking for, but not seek it to a point where it's just about filling this little void that you have, because that is when it gets messy and that's when it gets fake and that's when you're leaning away from a cherished, real, long-term relationship to just the checkbox. Consistently being able to reframe this is what's been able to continuously push me forward to really knowing how I want to validate myself and not keep sponging it up from other people. It's not that I'm rejecting love. It's not that I'm rejecting the idea of a relationship or rejecting the possibility of just hanging out or a friends with benefits situation. Can somebody please recommend me a really good quality camera? Because this camera effing sucks, guys. I swear to God, this battery dies within 30 minutes of filming. I cannot film continuously for more than 30 minutes before it just, good night, every freaking time. All I wanted to do was finish up this video, and then it has to die, and then I have to reset a whole entire setup and get a charger and everything. So anyways, I need a better podcasting camera, so if anybody has an idea, let me know. I think that this one is not going to be one that I can keep for a long time. It's a cutie camera, but not a great camera. Maybe better for photos, I'm not sure. But what I wanted to say was, if you're a girl who is in the cycle of validation jail and you want to get out and you want to strip yourself off of this, I think the first main step is to look at yourself and go, okay, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I involved in this? Why am I constantly leaning towards this idea rather than seeing the fact that I do have a value and seeing the fact that I want a long-term relationship, or maybe I actually don't want this, or I want this, or whatever it is, whatever your answer is. Ask yourself what you're really looking for and ask yourself how you can get there. Just the first tiny 3 baby steps, the smallest little things that you have to do so that you can push yourself to that place, rather than always leeching onto somebody else just to see if they like you, just to feel that check mark, just to feel a little bit better, that ounce of gold, when really actually not changing anything for you. It's just keeping you in the cycle of not valuing yourself. At the end of the day, I still want love. I still want real, good, honest, raw connection. I want a very beautiful and happy relationship, and I am super excited to get one whenever I do. I'm so sorry if you can hear my neighbor singing. She's got a beautiful voice. Also, she's trilingual, which is fucking crazy. I don't know how this girl speaks so many languages. Every once in a while, I hear Spanish, English, and French from over there. So, also, my God, my walls are thin. They might be able to hear me saying this. I don't even know. But I know that their kitchen is right here. They're right there. And it is very, very loud. But you know what? It's the price to pay for cheap rent. So, I still want real connection. I just don't want to keep putting myself in the place where I don't feel like I see my value, because I'm the only one who can really see my value. I'm the only one who's supposed to be validating me. I'm the one who keeps healing that cycle that I can keep messing up. And I want to keep putting myself into a situation where I am loved. And I show the world that I deserve love, and then I do deserve that love. Thank you for watching this episode, you guys. I've been making shorter episodes as of recent, but I've been really enjoying it because I feel like my content is just getting a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger, better, quicker. I'm just throwing it all out. And I think more than a 30-minute episode can get a little bit heavy, so I'm going to try to condense it to around 30 minutes. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. This has been a fabulous time. Kisses. XOXO.